It's time for Crime in the DMV, where we bring you the latest headlines from the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sierra Fox. We start with the George Mason University student arrested by the FBI for allegedly plotting an attack in New York City. Fox 5's Shamari Stone explains.
George Mason University's president says that suspect 18-year-old Abdullah Hassan is a freshman at the university majoring in information technology, and he is banned from school property. The FBI saying Abdullah Hassan, shown in this arrest photo, told an undercover informant that New York City would be a, quote, goldmine of targets, and allegedly plotted an attack on the Israeli consulate in New York, along with Jewish communities. According to court documents, Hassan is a national of Egypt, currently living in Falls Church, Virginia, and is in removal proceedings with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The FBI started investigating Hassan on May 4th after the Fairfax County Police Department shared an anonymous tip about Hassan allegedly engaging in radical and terrorist-leaning behavior on X. The FBI believes he operated several pro-ISIS and al-Qaeda accounts that promoted violence against Jews. Agents arrested him on Tuesday. George Mason University's president says that the school has stepped up security. I'm Shamari Stone. Back to you.
D.C. police are searching for 8 suspects who they say robbed a business in Northwest. Customers and workers were even forced to comply. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis has this story.
Well, all this went down here at the P1 Packaging, where a contractor has spent most of the day repairing the door frame and also the door, but it's business as usual. Lots of folks inside. You can see behind me. The lights are on here. The police report, though, meanwhile, says at least 3 victims were restrained and forced into a bathroom at gunpoint. The owner and employees only speaking off camera. Nearby residents telling us this business has been repeatedly robbed. Some suspecting the crooks think this business is selling cannabis. They are not. They sell packaging. In fact, on December 12th at 7 p.m., police say the armed group of robbers said, quote, "I am here to buy what you have," end quote. An employee reportedly responded saying, "We do packaging and printing." Fox 5 has learned the robbers stole nearly $2,000 in cash, an iPhone, designer wallets, a purse, jackets, and more. Nearby residents telling Fox 5 this comes as no surprise and are calling on more law enforcement.
I have a pizza place, which is a restaurant in 9NU, Minas Pizza. We got robbed the same, like a couple weeks ago. And we have a speakeasy bar down there. We got robbed there, which is the same day. And of course, there's a big concern, you know, even for safety of our neighborhood, residents, also safety of our employees.
We reached out to D.C. police and we are waiting to hear back more. We also reached out to D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser's office, who referred us to D.C. police. All 8 suspects got away, and a police report says that credit cards, a driver's license, and medication was also stolen.
The Charles County Sheriff's Office says a woman lured a child into her car, an 8-year-old boy. What happened next could have ended much worse if it weren't for the heroic actions of a Good Samaritan. I spoke with one resident about what happened. This quiet Bryan's Road neighborhood in Maryland is on high alert. Around 8:30 in the morning, an 8-year-old boy was waiting at his bus stop at the corner of Hard Bargain Circle and Montrose Road. That's when 64-year-old Crystal Clay allegedly convinced him to get into her white Chevrolet Malibu. He originally declined, but then complied.
Females have that voice of luring, kind of for them, because they have that mother instinct to call them. And I was just reading, at first the child was a little indecisive whether to do it, and they finally got into the car.
That's Pastor Larry Palmer, who lives in the area. He says this incident is disturbing.
It can happen anywhere. I'm not really surprised by it.
The Charles County Sheriff's Office tells Fox 5 Clay luckily didn't get too far with the child. She stopped a short distance away in the middle of the street on Chapman's Landing Road to search for her phone. That's when a local resident noticed something was off. The woman approached the car, and after seeing the boy crying, she asked if he was okay. He replied saying he was not and needed help. She immediately dialed 911 and deputies arrived within minutes. The child, unharmed but shaken, was reunited with his parents. Clay was arrested on scene and is now facing a felony charge for child abduction.
My first thoughts was that she was probably somewhat deranged, a little off, have to be to abduct a child. But like anyone else, you pray for them and hope that this becomes a wake-up call for her and for the parents as well.
Officials are asking moms and dads to have regular conversations with their sons and daughters about safety. Remind them to never get in a car with a stranger.
I'm sure it's probably giving that little child nightmares at night and probably be scared to go to school for the next coming days. But I pray for them all.
D.C. Councilman Tryon White is one step closer to getting removed from his position. He's fighting a federal bribery charge. Now, his fellow lawmakers are making moves to expel the Ward 8 representative. Fox 5's Tom Fitzgerald has the latest.
It looks very much like D.C. Councilmember Tryon White, who is facing federal criminal charges right now on bribery allegations, is very likely set next month to be expelled from the D.C. Council outright. A report to an ad hoc committee of the D.C. Council found what they said were substantial evidence that Tryon White had violated the ethics rules of the D.C. Council by taking bribes and then steering D.C. contracts to specific contractor. Now, remember, there is a federal criminal case right now against D.C. Councilmember White. However, this hearing today by the ad hoc committee was not passing judgment on that. In fact, council member after council member, before announcing their vote to recommend expulsion, said that this vote today was based on D.C. ethics code, a code that they say Tryon White clearly violated.
The report's finding of substantial evidence of bribery is an egregious violation of our public trust.
We can't continue as though nothing has happened and make those necessary steps while Councilmember Tryon White remains a member of this body.
There is only one path forward, and I support the motion for expulsion.
Now, for his part, Councilmember White decided not to address this ad hoc committee today. However, before they met, he did speak with reporters. He stressed in his view his innocence and also pointed out that he just won re-election last month. A lot of his supporters were in the chamber today and said they were angry that Ward 8 constituents were not allowed to speak up in his defense.
Just last month, over 20,000 people in Ward 8 decided that they wanted me to be their council member. So we're sticking to that.
They talk about their responsibility to the public. They have an overall duty to make sure that the Ward 8 residents' voices are heard.
Councilmember White's trial on these federal charges isn't expected to begin until 2026. It is theoretically possible that he could be expelled from the council, but yet still run in the special election to fill the Ward 8 seat.
The adult sister of a 5-year-old girl who D.C. police say was shot and seriously wounded by her 3-year-old brother is facing a number of gun charges tonight. The shooting happened inside the family's apartment in Southwest. Fox 5's Bob Barnard has the details.
As they were making their first court appearances here at D.C. Superior Court, charges against the adult man who was in the apartment at the time of the shooting, those have been dropped, but the little children's adult sister is still facing neglect and gun charges.
The shooting happened last night around 6:30 on Galveston Street Southwest, a gated apartment community called The Gardens. D.C. police telling us a 3-year-old boy shot his 5-year-old sister. The children's mother, we're told, was out running errands at the time. The children's 21-year-old sister and a man, a friend, we're told, were babysitting. Police tell us the girl was shot in the chest and rushed to the hospital, where we're told she's in critical but stable condition. The firearm was a ghost gun that police say they found in the apartment. The adult still accused in this case is Dejanay McCrory Jackson. She is the children's sister, charged with possession of an unregistered firearm, that ghost gun, possession of unregistered ammunition, criminally negligent storage of a firearm, first-degree cruelty to children, and assault on a police officer when they arrived on the scene last night. Reaction from the community is strong.
And how many times do they tell gun owners to keep those guns locked and keep them out of the way of children?
It shouldn't even have been accessible. Should have been nowhere around a 3-year-old with getting their hands on a gun. That's absurd.
That ain't even supposed to be in kids' reach. I have a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. They're gonna be 3 and 5 one day, and it's just crazy. Like,
it's like you hear that stuff every day. I mean, every city, every state, man. I just wish we could just get better with that.
We do not know where the 3-year-old boy is tonight or how he was able to pull the trigger on that ghost gun.
Well, that does it for this week's Crime in the DMV. Make sure you tune in next week to stay ahead with Fox 5 right here on Fox Local as we continue to bring you the latest updates.